welcome. I'm just going to start with our opening prayer. Sorry, I was running a little bit late today. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended, our pain be lifted, to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so here we go. Sachin is saying, hi, can I get a reading, please? Whatever I need to know. Okay, let me tune in. Okay, so the first thing that I'm getting from your angels is that you have been making more space for yourself. You have been spending more time and energy into your own care, and they've noticed this shift in your alignment, and it's creating a lot more powerful energy. And what they're showing me is like this almost like divided energy. One part of you wants to know how to rest, and one part of you is like, well, there's so much I need to be getting done. And there's this tug of war between the part of you that wants to get more done and the part of you that knows that you need to receive and that rest is part of getting more done. So let's release that. Oh, so the truth is, right, that rest is the only way to get more done. If you do not rest, then you burn out and then you don't get anything done. So this idea that the ego posits to us that if the more we get done, we can, like, the more we burn the candle at both ends, then the more toxic, so that then the more we'll get done. It's just a lie. If you burn the candle at both ends and you push yourself without giving yourself any rest, you burn out. So then instead of getting work consistently done for 3 months or for the whole year, you get work consistently done for 2 weeks, and then you have like a burnout period or a depression, or you're just like, I'm not productive, I don't understand why. And it's because you let yourself burn out. Okay, so consistent rest is important. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Tawana saying, I love you so much. Love you too. Okay, Gabrielle saying, Dear Sky, thank you so much for your wonderful work. Can I please have some guidance regarding the salary increase I am waiting for? What are my blockages in this area? Thank you, Gabriella. So sometimes you have to hold a frequency of knowing that you're the prize, of knowing that you deserve to be taken care of and that you're worthy and that you're loved. And then the man or the job or whatever, you call it forth, you pull it in, but you have to hold. They say they used to say keep the faith or hold the line. So when you're manifesting an increase in salary or a promotion or an increase in team, or you're going to have to hold the line, as it were. So when you're waiting for a salary increase, you want to keep affirming that you're so grateful for the salary increase that you received, but you want to do the deep emotional work of what are the things that happened to me in my childhood and in my adult life as a woman that made me feel like I wasn't worthy of being well paid, that it was selfish to be well paid. And it's everywhere. And often from people we don't expect. I had this issue get triggered last week. with 3 separate students decide that, that are part of the mastermind that were never like one-to-one clients, deciding that I should be giving them one-to-one sessions just because, right? And they felt entitled to it, to my time, to my energy, to my healings. And that's part of victim consciousness, is that entitlement, right? Um, and even though it's crystal clear that that's never was never part of the contract or never part of the agreement, it doesn't change how people feel when they're in that energy. And then you have to hold the line, and those people will either leave your space because you've refused to break the boundary, or they'll do the healing that they need to do to understand that just because you're having a feeling doesn't make the other person obligated to give you something, right? So when you're asking for an increase in salary, particularly around your job, your boss isn't the source of your income, and they are not obligated to give you an increase in salary, even if you're doing an amazing job, right? And that is also to do with how much the company is making or everything else. However, once your worth increases and you know that you're the prize and you know that you're doing your job properly, you will either leave and find a better place that does pay you better, or they will recognize that work financially and it will feel right for them to do so, because you will be adding so much value to the company that it makes complete sense to do that. But energetically, you have to shift into the I am worthy, right? I'm worthy of respect. I'm worthy of being taken care of. I'm worthy of the dedication, the commitment, the time. Okay. Ooh, I'm worthy of the recognition. Because when I'm tuning into you, your energy is like, it's you're in victim consciousness, and it's an energy of like self-pity. Why don't these people see my worth? I've been doing this work for years. They should have seen my worth. Now, that energy is coming from wanting people outside of you to validate you. And if you do not actually validate yourself, right? And that is that moment where God looked on what he created and he saw that it was good. You have to look at what you've created and go, oh my God, this is good. I'm giving so much value back. I'm giving so much worth back. This work that I'm doing is blessing my boss. This work that I'm doing is blessing my employees. I'm so grateful that I get to contribute on this level. You have to value your work, right? Because if the energy that you're putting into the worksheets that you're creating, the documents that you're doing, the emails that you're sending is resentment, and resentment is they should validate me, then you're going to get back resentment, right? Or if you're putting invisibility, nobody sees the work I do, then what you're going to get back is invisibility. So you want to be really pouring the energy of, I am so grateful that I have this much to contribute. I am so grateful that I can add value to this person's life and I can bless these people's lives. This is so good. This is so juicy. I'm so excited about what I'm doing. It's this energy of recognition that gives you the reward. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do a quick energy break. Mattis, hi to everybody. Can I have a reading? Thank you so much. Let me see what's coming up. Yeah, you're the same, Mattis. I'm literally getting Archangel Shamuel coming in and showing me like broken heart and going worthiness, 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 worthiness. It's confusing worthiness with entitlement. Okay. Worthiness comes from a place of accepting that worthiness is your birthright. Um, and also of understanding that you need to be ready for the responsibilities that you're asking for, right? So to doing the work, spending the time to, like, let's say you want to be a lawyer, obviously you have to go to law school, you have to do the case studies, you have to write the essays, you have to sit the exams, you have to become really good at your craft. Same thing if you want to be a master healer, same thing if you want to be a doctor, a teacher. So that's the energy of I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my divine service every single day, right? That's the energy that it begins with. And the worthiness is understanding that the more that you show up, that the universe will not just give you more than what you gave, it will give you everything in return. Ooh. So the angel's also showing me that for a lot of you, and this is what Mattis's question is brought up, is that for a lot of you, you only feel worthy when you're being mistreated. And that happens sometimes because we learn our lessons sometimes in the moment of our deepest trauma. And that's why they say every problem carries its own solution, right? So if you have a worthiness issue and you get with a guy that's treating you like crap, or you get with a girl that's treating you like crap, or you have a client or an employee that's treating you badly, there is a moment where you go, I deserve better than this. I am worthy of better than this. You have no right to treat me this way. You have no right to talk to me this way, right? There's a moment where you decide, I deserve better. And normally that's the moment that you get angry. That's the moment that you shift from feeling guilty to feeling pissed, is the moment that you decide that you deserve better, because that's the moment the boundaries kick in, right? Because you haven't developed the emotional musculature to have those boundaries there, right? You are using anger as a substitute for courage. So that's why so much childhood trauma involves us only being able to feel good about ourselves by getting angry at somebody, or getting pissed at somebody, or getting triggered, right, by them. And it's because it's from the mindset of a child. We either see the person as all good and amazing, or terrible person. It's like black and white thinking, because that's the mind of a child. They don't have the rainbow spectrum. Things are either right or wrong, right, until you're about 7-8 years of age. There's no spectrum, right? They can't see the multiplicity or the diversity of justice or personalities, or law of attraction or whatever. They see black and white. This is either right or it's wrong. And normally right or wrong is based on whether the child feels pain or whether the child feels pleasure, not on an objective understanding or perception of the world and how they function within it, right? And how what's good for the community. So let's just take a moment to send so much love to that inner child that's furious and that had to get furious to believe that they deserve better, or the part of you that's furious. And we're just going to say, you can know you deserve better without creating drama, picking fights, sabotaging your work or your relationships. Okay. Oh, that was a big one. It's okay for you to make changes without having to destroy everything. And what most people think will happen is that when they set boundaries, limits, and standards, that the partner will leave, their friend will leave, they'll have to leave the job. And then this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. What normally happens is that when you set standards and boundaries, When you set standards and boundaries, then people up level, they start to treat you better. But only if you set those standards and boundaries from a place of I am worthy of this, and I am worthy of this, and you are better than this. Like, you know how to treat people better, you know how to do this better. And then you have to hold the line, which is what we said, keeping the faith, right? Keeping the faith that they will figure it out, that they will change, especially if you've been letting them treat you badly for a long time. Okay. Deauville is saying, "Hi, Sky. Do the angels have a message for me? Thank you." Okay, let me tune into Deauville. Oh, girl, have you been stepping into your power? Seriously. Like, the moment I tune into you, and I've seen some of it. I've seen some of your shorts. I've seen some of your TikTok videos. But your angels are like, gosh, like, this girl is on fire. It's getting hot up in here. Like, there's so much joy when I'm tuning into you, because you are finally stepping into your divine life purpose. There we go. Okay. Any advice regarding my love life? So the card that I'm seeing in front of me is like the card from the Mermaid's Oracle card deck is popping up in front of my third eye, the consultant expert, consultant expert. Um, there's a few teachers that I'm really into right now with this. One of them is called the Universe Guru. I'll drop you a DM. DM me saying that I sent, and I'll drop you the DM to the links on TikTok or Instagram. But it's you really need to start seeing things differently. You were so inside this toxic femininity, this toxic, you were raised by women who didn't respect female traits. So you are this is what worthiness seems to be a theme today. So it's this energy of really understanding, right, that you are the prize. And most women have had that beaten out of them, screamed out of them, um, sexually abused out of them, um, because of other people's entitlement. We were the last two generations of men were raised to believe that women should do everything, the providing and the caretaking and the housekeeping and everything else, and that all they had to do was work, and that women had to do everything else. So there's a real, and this is what they call like the slave energy versus the queen energy, or the wife energy, is that and you see it everywhere you go in the world. So, and I stopped traveling since Chacha a lot, but when it doesn't matter where I go, whether it's London, whether it's Edinburgh, whether it's Dundee, you see women being wined and dined and being, getting proposed to. And when I go, especially when I go swimming or sauna, I see women sitting there with their rings and then you see women who are sitting on park benches and they're getting fed up in public after the first date and being taken to a coffee date or bars, and they're just as beautiful, just as intelligent, just as talented as the women that are getting the bags and the home and the children and the marriage. The only difference is the decisions and their worthiness. Like, there could be 100 men in front of them saying, I want to get married, and they would be like, well, that's okay, but that's not what I want, and I'm going to find someone that's going to give me what I want. Um, what happens is that when you're coming from a place of that toxic feminine wound, is that the person says, oh no, I want to do 50-50. I don't want to give you what you want. I don't want to provide. And you go, oh my God, there's no other men. My family was right. I'm never going to be with a guy. And then we either become obsessed with making that guy want something that they don't want, right? Or we lower what we want. And then that creates huge amounts of resentment because we're like not being ourselves and we feel that we're being used and we are being used. Okay. So let's take a moment to clear this toxic femininity, toxic masculinity stuff and just raising the worth. Okay. Orviella is saying, hi, Sky. I can really appreciate your readings. Thank you, beautiful. Can I get a reading, please? Any advice regarding my love life? Okay, let me tune in. Okay, so the angels are showing me this is actually what they call an ugliness wound. So deep down, it's like the body image issues or the deep down, you have been, they're showing me it comes from multiple lifetimes. There's this belief that only the most beautiful women are worthy of protection, provision, presence, and unconditional love. And you don't believe you're a beautiful woman. So I call it the ugliness wound. So I would go, you need to go down and heal this because it's not true. It's not true. Men are looking for, men fall in love with a woman's soul. They fall, oh, I'm getting goosebumps all over the place. They fall in love with a woman's heart. They fall in love with a woman respecting them and valuing them. I have seen men, you know, go like literally, I've seen men propose to women in wheelchairs because it is our soul and the being respected and the being valued and the being nurtured that they fall in love with. It is not about the body. The men that it is about the body for are still in that whole little boy energy and they're not even ready for a marriage and commitment and anything else yet. And you see historically and ancestrally, that's how it works, right? Historically and ancestrally, men are in that building stage. They're in that the you guys are gonna laugh at the tarot card deck. It's called the Fool, right? The young fool. They're in the stage where they'll try anything and they'll build and they'll build and they'll build and they're figuring out how to be providers and they're figuring out how to rely on themselves and they're figuring out how to go from this fool archetype through the magician archetype, which is the transformation, into the king archetype, which is the whole provider. They're figuring that out. The same way that we have like a menopausal shift, they have a young adulthood shift. Whereas women go straight from the whole, we go from maiden right into the whole queen, goddess, mother archetype much younger. They and it's everybody knows women mature faster than men, right? And it's not just an intellectual, spiritual superiority complex. It's like children. It's a biological reality, right? So, and in most cultures, Chinese culture, Indian culture, and European culture until the feminist movement were designed to reflect this. And men weren't even allowed to marry, weren't even allowed to have a woman or have a family until they could provide for one, right? Because it's a lot of responsibility. So most women get confused with a guy in his fool archetype, his magician archetype, his building archetype, instead of the guy who's already in that king energy, right? So when you're And that's why most cultures, women are with guys that are in that king energy for me, because they need the provision and the protection and the presence. So let's just take a moment. We're just going to send so much unconditional love to this part of you that feels ugly, feels undesirable, feels not capable. There we go. Oh. And the thing that you want to meditate on every day is that beauty is a vibration. Okay? Beauty is more than a physical thing. It is not just about your hair and your makeup or whatever. Lovingly grooming and dressing your body and being in the vibration of beauty is a different thing than the actual essence of beauty. Beauty is like one of the core rules of magnetic attraction. It's one of the core laws of radiation. So if you think about a star, if you think about the ocean, if you think about a flower, right? They are attractive. They are, because they are part of the law of attraction, but also because beauty is attractive, right? There we go. So let's pull in that the law of beauty, as it were. Okay. Jennifer Morgan is saying, "Hey, lovely, would love a message from my angels, please." Okay, so there's something immediately coming in about properties selling. And there's like a congratulations energy. Like some properties you have are going to move, or they're already moving quickly. There's this energy of like congratulations, congratulations. There's like a real, I can feel the vortex spinning like this, like things are getting faster and are moving. So I'm not sure if it's already happened or if it's like imminent, but that's the first thing they're saying to me. And then the next thing that they're showing me is like closed heart and still stuck in the sadness. So let's just take this. Okay, so there was an article in the newspaper yesterday that was like most young men single, most young women in relationships. And then this guy was going like, "Oh, I'm really concerned about our men." I'm not concerned about our men, because this is the system resetting itself, right? So women have clocked onto the fact that whilst relationships, from all the studies, were working out pretty well for men, increasing their health, increasing their career prospects, increasing their happiness in life, that is not what was happening for women under the old paradigm. Right, our health was going down. We were putting on excess weight. We were having metabolic conditions. We were having brain damage from the narcissistic abuse. We were sacrificing our careers. We were having less friendships. We were being worse parents because we were constantly burnt out and destroyed. And women are also suddenly realizing that we are responsible for the genetic line. So that unless men step into their full power, we shouldn't be giving those genes, that energy, the right to continue. That we choose who we procreate with, right? We choose who goes forward. That's the part of the energy of being the prize. So these young men is like, I'm really concerned about. Don't worry about it. They're either going to level up, right? Or they're going to level out, because this is the universe demanding a deeper awakening, that if they want to participate in relationship and in communication and in community, they have to provide, they have to bring value. They cannot just bail out. They cannot stay perpetual Peter Pans and children forever, right? So that's the energy that I'm picking up, brings the heartbreak. So this is the underbelly of manifestation. If you believe that by having boundaries and standards, you will be alone, that is what will happen. If you believe that by having boundaries and standards, right, that you will get your needs met. That is what will happen. But for you to believe that by having boundaries and standards, you will get your needs met, you first have to do the healing so that you feel worthy of having your boundaries and needs met. Okay. And there's nothing that's the last few months have shown me more about how screwed up the boundaries are, particularly inside the spiritual community. There we go. Oh, we're just going to clear all of that. I'm not worthy. You are really deeply, unconditionally worthy of all your good. There you go. Oh, okay. I'm going to bring in the house angels as well to keep this momentum moving around the houses. Okay. Okay, Joanna Diamandi, may I have a reading guidance about what I should do? Anything new in my love life? How to attract clients? Lots of love. So those are 3 separate questions. I'm just going to ask what your angels have to say, Joanna. Oh. Okay. So the first thing that I'm seeing for you, Joanna, when I'm tuning into your love life, is like an energy of like hiding. They keep showing me you inside an apartment or inside a house, so you're not getting out enough. And when you're getting out, there's almost like an invisibility cloak around you, so that they're kind of asking you to take down the walls, let people see you, let them connect with you. Don't go to events or leave the house with this energy of I'm different, or no one really gets me, or no one really understands me. You want to leave the house with this energy of playfulness and fun um and enjoyment. And you find very often you find your soulmate when you're doing what you love to do, which is how I found all of my soulmates, every single one of them. I never been on a dating app. I've never started dating somebody online. I've always found my soulmates when I'm doing things that I love to do. One of them was at a spiritual festival. One of them was at a spiritual workshop. One of them was at school back when I was, really like a SWAT. One of them was at choir and swimming, right? Because I love to sing, and he was also on in the choir with me. And then we took a school history trip together, and that's how it became a relationship. So the old-fashioned way to meet men in particular, or to meet women who are a similar vibe than you, is to do things that you love doing, and you will naturally meet other people that love doing similar things. And you shine at your brightest when you're doing things that you love, right? And then you want to look at the deeper things, the culture, the values, the raising kids. But that's what happens when you're dating somebody, right? And that has to be there honestly from the start. So if you're on a date with a guy, and you're dating, and you're over the age of 22 years old, and they're asking you, what are you expecting from this date? What are you expecting from this relationship? You're like, well, I'm after commitment, I'm after marriage. And you're also asking them, what are you expecting? And you're not giving them too much information. You're not going, well, I want all of this stuff. You're asking them, what do you want? A lot. And the reason is you don't want to set yourself up. So if you tell somebody everything you want in a relationship, and they just want to get in your knickers, and they're going to tell you everything you want to hear, right? So you want to ask them, what do they want? What are their values? You have two ears and one mouth. You want to be listening a lot. It's the same thing with clients. So it's this energy of not being afraid of the dating process, not being afraid of letting people close to you and the selection process. Oh, and I say this with nothing resembling a high horse because it used to trigger the bejesus out of me. I had such big rejection wounds from all the childhood bullying and the racism and the sexism. The idea of rejecting somebody, of saying I didn't want to go on a date, of saying I didn't want to work with them anymore was so hard. And I was actually on a Susie Ashworth workshop months ago, and it was something she said in the workshop around money that healed me, because she was talking about how one of her clients flipped out over her sending a DM, but like a general DM to the people that were on her inside her group, and I might be completely bastardizing what she said, so forgive me. Back to you. But long story short, she said that she responded, and in a kind, but firm way, and saying, look, we contact all of our followers when we're running a new offer, so that nobody gets missed. But we completely hear that you don't want to be included in that, so we're going to remove you. Okay, don't worry, we're going to remove you. But she said before it would have flipped her out, and she would have been really badly hurt by this, and she wouldn't have responded. And that not responding or going silent when somebody is like rude to you or mean to you or challenges you comes from that place of lack of power. And when she said that, it just everything just went boom, 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 like dominoes for me. And I was like, okay, I get it. That is why I go quiet. That is because when I don't want something, or when somebody blindsides me with an attack, my my defense mechanism is free, so I go silent, right? I go quiet. I really struggle, which you would never guess from the amount that I talk at work and everywhere else, right? But that was my default response. And it was only when I healed that, right, that I'm allowed to speak back, and that I'm allowed to have my own back, right? That things really start to move and shift and evolve for clients, and also in relationships, that I'm allowed to want what I want. Because particularly in Western culture, women are told, no, you shouldn't want marriage, no, you shouldn't want children, no, you should be obsessed with career, no, you shouldn't ask a man to pay on a date, no, don't be you. And this like femininity control construct, instead of womanhood, which is what we are, right? It's not whether you remove your hair, or whether you wear your makeup, or how you show up in the world. It's your physiology. And it's the reality of what we face as we move through life. So let's just do a healing on that, so that you can attract your partner, and so that you can attract better clients. You can be more visible, and you can respond, right? So that's one of the things you're going to have to do, is you're going to have to say, I'm getting goosebumps all over. You're going to have to be able to say no to the people who are not for you. And you're going to have to say yes to the people that you think might be for you. And then you're going to have to hold to your values and to your dreams. Because anybody that wants to date you or be your client who doesn't believe that you're worth their time, their money, or their energy, that doesn't respect you, right, is just using you. And then it's not worth your time or your energy. There we go. Whew. Okay. Warren Fox. Hi, Skylar. Is it possible to get an angel reading on where I should be living? I have moved from Australia to Gibraltar with my partner Sophia, but it's not really resonating. We're looking at starting a family, and also looking at astrocartography based on our birth charts for options to move and settle. I miss home, Australia. So, with that and resistance in starting a family, I would love to receive some clarity. Um, Warren's also saying, greatly appreciated and grateful for your time and energy, Warren. Of course, darling. Let me have a look. It's been a while. Warren's an incredible artist, guys. And we've known each other for a long. Let me just have a look at what's going on with Warren. Ooh, okay. So there's a couple of layers on this one. So the first thing they're showing me is that it's really important for you to be doing your own personal private therapy around healing that hurt little boy. They're also showing me plant medicine coming in quite strongly. So I'm not sure if you've been doing ayahuasca or mushrooms or something like that, but they're showing me that you're experiencing some kind of real dissociation from your feelings, and it's so hard for you to get in touch with um your deeper feelings. So that's what they're saying. Like, listen to what you're saying. Options for to move and settle. These are like, how do we move inside us from one state to another? How do I move from wanting a family to not wanting? How do I move from not wanting a family to wanting a family? How do I move from feeling, you know, used to feeling needed? How do I move from feeling homeless to feeling like I have a home? How do I move from this builder energy into this king archetype? It's this real restlessness of wanting to move but not knowing how to shift into this king archetype. So I'm going to bring in Archangel Raphael, that's coming in really strong. I'm going to bring in Archangel Michael. So also, like, what the angels are showing me is that let's start by just cutting your cords to Australia, because like at the moment, energetically and genetically, it's like Australia's home, and I don't want to have a family unless I'm home, because there wouldn't be the protection and the family structure. So let's cut all those cords to Australia. And this is, I'm gonna put a caveat on this, right? Because to me this is very true. And I realized how true this was after I had my son. And that's part of the reason why I moved back to be close to my parents, right? Is because there's a lot to be said for having a village, for having the support, for having the community. And especially as a woman, I knew it intellectually, but physically, the exhaustion of having a family hit hard. So particularly with working, etc. So I wouldn't be able to be here with you guys if it wasn't for my mom at the moment. Just so you guys know, she's been doing huge amounts to support me. So there we go. Let's just clear some of this energy of having these deeper conversations of what having a family will mean. And I'm not talking about the getting pregnant bit. I'm talking about the sleepless nights for months on end. I'm talking about the recovery from childbirth. And I'm talking about your parenting styles. And like these are the real conversations, not the we want to start a family. There we go. I'm getting goosebumps. So it's having the angels are saying like deeper conversations about values, about division of labor, about the invisible load of having a family. There we go. Because that's the real fear. Right? How are you going to handle the tantrums? How are you going to handle the meltdowns? How are you what is your like beliefs around discipline? Like this is I'm getting goosebumps all over. So the fear is like I don't know how to parent. Oh, that's massive. I'm just gonna bring in the archetype of like the divine father here, because this is something you learn, right? It's something you learn, and it's also something that's different with every child you have. I wish I could say differently, but life doesn't come with a manual. Life comes with parents, right? And different children are really different, even in the same family. There we go. Okay, there we go. Hope that helps, my love. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. Teresa's saying, "Hi, my love. I'm really trying to improve my thoughts on life, but I suffer with second guessing myself. May I have some guidance?" Okay, let me have a look. Yeah. Okay. So you're not struggling with second guessing yourself. You're struggling with childhood trauma. And how we talk about what we've experienced gives us the self compassion for us to be able to complete the journey that we set out on. Okay. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Okay, and then this is the deal, like, because you're dealing with childhood trauma, this is where you have to slow down. I really recommend starting journaling. There's some very powerful inner child work journals that you can do. And the so I would start with inner child work, because when your brain your when you write and when you paint, your prefrontal cortex biologically connects with your amygdala, which is the fight flight freeze response, and it helps you be able to start regulating your nervous system in a completely different way, which is why journaling is such a powerful neuroregulation tool. And probably the only reason our grandparents managed to recover in any way after what happened with the First and Second World Wars, because they were prolific journalers, right? And also why their memories were so much better than ours, because they wrote everything down and we don't. Um, but when we're dealing with healing, that you want to start working like through an inner child journal. You want to be working with sessions with someone that's going to hold you accountable. You don't want, please don't hire a yes therapist. I swear to God, if I have to bitch slap one more person who's hired somebody who's hired like a yes therapist, that all their therapist is supposed to do is just agree with everything that they say, and then they wonder why they're not making any progress, I'm going to cry. Okay, stop it. I just flipping stop it. You need to do better than that. You need to hire people who are going to be real with you and honest, who care enough about you to tell you the truth. Stop hiring people who just want your money. Start hiring people as teachers, as therapists, as healers who care enough about you to tell you the goddamn truth, because you have work to do, right? No amount of tantrums or I don't want to do any more healing or I've done all the healing. Stop it. You have to have somebody who's going to be real with you, right? There's no amount of self-pity that's going to get you out of this mess. It's going to take a lot more than that. So let's just take a moment. So you need your journaling, you need a proper kick-ass, loving, honest therapist. And the other technique that I use every day all the time is, what would my higher self do, right? So one of the ways, the way Mel Robbins uses the count to five rule, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then she does it. When I find myself snapping at my son, or not wanting to hire somebody else, or wanting to let one employee, not wanting to be with the company anymore, sabotage my entire career. And I'm like, if they don't want to work, then I'm not going to do it. And I can't do this on my own, and blah, blah. When you're going into self-pity land, the question that I ask myself is, what would my higher self do? What would my higher self do? If I already owned a multi-billion-dollar company, would one employee wanting to move on trigger me this much? No, it wouldn't. I would deal with it in a calm, professional way. If I was already, a world-renowned teacher, spiritually, with billions or millions of followers, would the fact that some people don't like me trigger me this much? No. So I'm not going to let it stop me from being productive today. But it's that question, what would my higher self do, gets me out of so much trouble. The other one that's good, but I don't normally say, but all the Christians say it, and it works very well for me, because that me and Jesus are like this, is, what would Jesus do? right? What would Jesus do? And Jesus is never pissed off at your mother or father or your kid or your client or your life. This is what I mean. It's a shift in perspective, but those are the questions that shift me. What would my higher self do? Shifts me into 100% accountability. What would Jesus do? Shifts me into that spiritual humor, and that problems have their own solutions, and that I've created this energy which allows things to flow a lot easier, which allows things to occur without the drama, which allows things to move. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do one more. So the Bravak is saying, can the angels give me some guidance on how to stop absorbing other people's energies, how to let them do their own things, not helping them all day, and go to help myself? Thank you very much. So immediately I'm getting shown like the book Codependence No More by Melody Beattie. If you haven't discovered Melody Beattie, I would go and have a look. They run free Codependence Anonymous meetings online, but that's what Archangel Raphael saying to me very strongly. This is codependency, and it comes from being raised in an environment where you were like a parentified child. It was your job to take care of everybody, and it can become very toxic because it's exactly what you're realizing now. You can't force someone to change. You can't make people do things. All it creates is a lot of resentment, a lot of drama. Absorbing other people's energies is a healing around being allowed to exist. So what happens when you grow up in a family environment where codependency or narcissism or alcoholism is strong? Basically, you grow up believing that you are not allowed to exist. Your job is to meet the needs of your parents, of your siblings, of everyone around you. So you start, and in order to do that, right, you have to not have feelings of your own. You have to be able to completely dissociate from your own body, and you have to be completely focused on people's micro emotions, micro movements, micro feelings. So when you go back and do that inner child work, you start to realize that whilst you are clairsentient and you can tap into other people's feelings when you wish to, you don't have to be tapped into them 24/7. You're not the family servant. You're not the family caregiver. You are you, right? You have a right to exist. You have a right to your own feelings, towards your emotions, towards your own space. And you are very capable of figuring out how to know when to meet other people's needs and when to meet your own based on your values, not based on what other people think you should do. And that's how I came from a very, I went to Codependence Anonymous for more than 4 years. And I actually gave a talk at Alcoholics Anonymous and Codependence Anonymous before I left London around a healing trauma inside the body. I was invited to give a few talks because so many of my clients came from Codependence Anonymous. And you can go to online meetings for free, which saved my life during lockdowns and things like that. They're completely free, and they really help you work through the 12 steps. But someone like I'm 100% raised in that codependent energy, and moving from somebody who my whole life was about other people and what they were doing and how they were feeling and how I could get them to the next level of success and how I could support them, and everything was about other people, to fulfilling my own purpose and dreams in life. It happens through a decision that you're going to heal and resolve the codependency and closing the codependency gene, etc. But it also happens through you going back and doing the inner child trauma work and the shadow work and going, okay, these were the traumas that made me believe that I am not allowed to have my own feelings. I'm not allowed to have my own time. I'm not allowed to have my own space. And that if I do, I'm bad, selfish, unworthy of love. I'll be abandoned. I'll be neglected. I'll be abused. I'll be lied about, I'll be manipulated, all the things that narcissists do, whether the narcissist comes in the form of, an addict or narcissistic personality disorder or a sick person or someone struggling with emotional immaturity, right? So all the things that we have to deal with when we are figuring out who we are as children, instead of getting supported, instead of being with someone who's like, what would you like to do? Yes, we can do that, but later, or yes, we can do that at another time. Because I have needs too, or there's a balanced response. We got told, do not have feelings, do not have needs. Why are you so selfish? You should be taking care of everybody else. There you go. That's moving. Bringing in the inner child angels here. Okay. I'm just going to close with the closing prayer here, guys. I love you very much. It's not going to be me next week. It's going to be Hera or Lucy next week because I am taking my first holiday in 2 years. Okay, so I'll be back the week after. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just taking a wee holiday, and my team will take care of you whilst I am not here. Only Hera and Lucy are on my team when it comes to angel readings at the moment, and Deepal is one of my teachers, but you only see Hera and Lucy on here on the Manifesting Health group and on my pages. Please don't let anybody else hurt you or pull you into any kind of a scam, okay? Let's do our closing prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.